as well. Flames ignited, transition initiated. You see, there must be somebody that wants to stamp these words in their lives as well. Let my flames blaze on. If it affects you, then you have all right to move or step aside. But let my flame continue down a slippery slide when you least expect it. And sometimes, dear friends, you have to get knocked down lower than you've ever been to stand taller than you ever were. Sometimes the challenges of life are not there to make you bitter, but it's there to make you better. Would you say amen? Of all that knows of this experience, then you can identify with Moses. That period of wonderful living, period of being knocked down. I'm sure that many individuals are all too familiar with this constant lesson in life. Moses' life was not different. 40 years in a palace, 40 years in the desert, and then 40 years in the wilderness. He studied in the temple of the sun. Moses was familiar and got very comfortable with the principles of princely living. The principles of princely practices Moses had become familiar with. He studied in the temple of the sun. He learned reading and writing. He learned trigonometry. He learned the geometric sciences. He learned mathematics. He learned astrology. He learned music. He learned arts. He learned the military sciences. Moses even learned the religion of the day. And somewhere along the line, the flame that was placed in Moses' heart became somewhat extinguished. Wow, how was it extinguished? The flames of privilege and prestige. The flames of privilege and prestige were blazing bountifully in Moses' life. It was flaming furiously, and sometimes, dear friends, we have to be careful with the flames that are referred to as the extrajudicial flames. There are many flames out there, but Moses found himself in a very particular situation. Moses is not in need of attention. Moses is not lacking privileges. Moses is not lacking prestige. All of a sudden, the flame that God only meant to be secondary has taken the primary spot. Moses, according to some, can be described as the poster child for God's grace. Look at Moses' life. His life almost ended before it started. But because of the grace of God, his life was extended. And then Moses went on to live in the palace. Now look at this, a Hebrew boy growing up in the Egyptian palace. No one cannot tell me that that is not the grace of God. Then killing an Egyptian soldier and escaping with his life, no one cannot tell me that that is not God's grace. And someone tonight must know the immense value of grace, because grace has been extended to us as well. Moses lived a life of privilege, yes. Lived a life of prestige, yes. But Moses knew the grace of God. You see, dear friends, I should not have been here, but because of God's grace, I am. I should have failed, but because of grace, I am here. Would you say amen? I should have lost, but because of grace, I won. So the poster child for God's grace, being gradually given to privilege and pumped, is now making way for God's intervention. Point number one, God intervenes to ignite. Because Moses has not allowed God's plan to be made perfect in his life, God must intervene at this time. Because the poster child, the deliverer, is being distracted and being disconnected from the divine dictates of heaven. Intervention becomes necessary. Intervention now, dear friends, becomes imminent in Moses' life, so that ignition becomes a possibility. All this while, Moses' flame for God is dying slowly. And God, recognizing that, decided that he must intervene in Moses' life. Point number one, God intervenes to ignite. 2 times God intervenes majorly in Moses' life. Moses killed the Egyptian soldier, escaped by the grace of God. He ran to Midian, into Jethro's house, and then the spark goes out. God never, however, gives up on us. Would you say amen?